Right, basic ideas for getting out of the bunkers. I've got a selection of my wedges. I've got a 46 degree, I've got a 56 and a 60. Let's talk to you about some basics so you can get out of the bunkers every time you play and try and get those scores a little lower. Are you any good out of bunkers? Up in that card, let me know. This was filmed at PGA Catalunya in Spain, thanks to your golf travel. It's an amazing destination. We caught some great sun. The bunkers and the bunker area was fantastic, so we thought we'd film this golf swing basics bunker lesson for you. Let me know with a thumbs up if you like this and you want to see more. If you're subscribed to this channel already, make sure you give that bell icon a little ring so you don't miss the next video. And if you're not subscribed and you want more golf swing basics, hit that subscribe button. Got loads more coming. So let's start with the basic setup and ideas of what you're trying to do. So generally in a bunker, I'm trying to get the ball up in the air with some height and some stop the other end. Sometimes you want it to release and move on, and we'll talk about the other lofts in a second. Now when it comes to holding the club, what I'm going to do, before I put my hands on it, I'm going to turn it to my desired loft. So I'm going to twist it and then I'm going to hold it. So if you look at the logo on my grip, I am all skew-if on that club. Biggest mistake I see amateurs make is they take their grip, so they hold the club in a neutral position and then start trying to turn it to add loft, to add angle, to get out of that bunker. That doesn't help because there's a good chance they're going to return that club to where they started. Maybe start using this leading edge, which we don't want to do. We're going to come to the club in a second, but basically I'm going to try and add bounce, this angle, drop the back of this club lower than the leading edge to get that working for me to bounce out of the bunker rather than to dig with any kind of leading edges. So I'm going to play my standard grip, but I'm just gripping that face open. Now the more I twist that loft on, the more I twist that face to appear like it's pointing to the right, the higher the ball will generally go and the shorter in distance. If I do one here just to kick us off, lots of twist, and then if I have lesser degree of turn, all that's going to happen is that ball's going to come out lower and tend to just roll on a little bit more. So I'm going to use that level of turn to get balls going out lower, running on, or going higher. But I'm doing it all from the beginning, twisting it, then holding it. Now, the more twist I put on this face, so in turn the more loft I'm adding, the more I might point that face to the right. So I'm now going to play with this angle, so the lie angle, to try and turn that face back towards my target. So you can see here, as I lift the club up, that club's going to point a little bit more to the right of the lens, and then if I lower it down, even though that face is still pointing way right in people's minds, that face is now pointing left of the lens here. So lie angle is going to be your new aiming tool. So if I go and twist lots of angle on that face, I'm going to have to get my hands lower, which means me sinking down a bit more to try and have any chance of hitting that target out in front of me. Now this is so trial and error. I want you to get in a bunker, try a little bit of twist, see what heights you get. Try loads of twists, see what heights you get, and in contrast distance. Then loads of handle low with twist, handle up with less twist. Play with those 3 dimensions of that club face. A lofted club face, or all club faces, have a 3-dimensional aiming point. Don't just think you're aiming that face right, so now you might need to swing left, all those kind of cliches. You can aim that club while adding loft by playing with your lie angle really easily. Now, depending on how far I want this ball to go, my grip with this twisted open and lofted club face, I'm going to come down or near the top. So I'm going to move my hands around the grip, so how high or how low, subject to how much speed I want to put down in the bottom of the shot. So just going to the blue flag here, so it's relatively close, 10 yards in front of me. I'm going to twist a bit of height on because I want the ball to stop, and I'm going to hold middle to bottom of that grip to try and play a softer shot. Now if I wanted to play the same shot, but I'm now going to try and go over that blue flag, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put less twist in, I'm going to hold more at the top, I want to make a bigger swing, get the same height, but send it much further out there. So I'm playing with how much twist I put on the face, the lie, then in turn the length of the club in how I hold it to hit the many different distances you're going to get in a bunker shot. Now when it comes to your stance, I like to see a good width for stance. You can see I'm about shoulders width apart here with my feet. I'm generally making a medium to bigger swing. Everyone lacks speed generally out of the bunker, so a bit of speed. You're going to have a follow through, so twist my hips, twist my shoulders, right foot's going to generally come up. So that solid base in an unstable surface is only a good thing. So ball position, I'm going to put the part of the sand I want to hit, so not the ball, the bit of the sand I want to hit, I'm going to focus on that. That's generally going to be, if you see my 2 footprints here, just forward of centre. So the ball actually is sitting opposite my left heel, but I'm referencing the bit of sand I want to hit, which is around 1 inch to 2 inches behind the ball. So your cliche bunker tip, hit 2 inches behind the ball or 1 inch behind the ball. Look where I've entered the sand here. So my ball was here, and here is the continuation of my line. So I've actually entered that sand further back than where I would suggest you do it. But to do that, I focused on 2 inches behind, and you've got to find your trigger, find where you need to focus on to get the trigger of the strike that gets the height, the distance, the control you want. Sometimes I think people in bunkers get a little too obsessed with trying to hit the most precise part of the bunker. What you don't want to be doing is hitting that ball first. So making sure you're getting that sand first. Obviously, if you get too much sand first, you're going to duff it. But again, if you use this line on the ground to reference where you struck, so I know if I catch in this area that I've caught here, it's a good result, it's a good shot. So I'm going to keep focusing on trying to hit 2 inches behind the ball. So I'm going to see a little bit of a wiggling with my students into the sand. I want to get a bit of grip. You don't just stand on top of it, it'll feel a little looser. That also sinks me down to kind of the level of sand I want to be getting under that ball as well, and the feeling in my head. Then I also have a good amount of knee flex, because remember, I'm trying to get my handle lower because I'm generally adding that twist that we said at the start. So by just bending down, crouching down a bit more, not only does that make me feel like I want to get into the sand under the ball, so not clip that ball first, it also gives me a good solid base to really start turning my body around, remember, on this loose surface. Now when it comes to the swing, I used to teach loads of beginners how to get out of bunkers, and I used to love it because it was generally so easy, because they would get so bogged down in these kind of ideas of aiming left, face right, swing left along lines of the feet, so all these contradicting angles that people would see and teach a bit. And I grew up trying to hit the slice bunker shot, where now I'm much straighter on with my path, my club, which we'll talk about in a second. But when it comes to amateurs or new golfers and even experienced golfers getting out every time, you find that entry point for your sand. So wherever you have to look, 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, whatever it is that works for you behind the ball. So you're not catching that ball first, and you apply speed and different levels of controlled speed, you generally get out every time. So the real basic lesson I used to give to students before all this bit that I've given you now, because amateurs used to get very scared of bunkers, I would say, look, just do the normal shots I've taught you on the range, point the face straight, put the ball somewhere in the middle of your stance, hit around 1 inch behind the ball, and just follow through. So just make sure you come off the right foot and the club comes over your shoulder, swinging nice and straight at your target. As you can see there, the ball came out. It got out of the bunker, and sometimes for people that's all they want at the start. Obviously these other little bits I'm putting in are saying if you want to get out higher, if you want to control distances. So for lots of beginners, it is a case of just doing your normal swing and then controlling the speed, even with a straight face. So that's a slower one, that's come out softer. It's stopped fine, it's got enough height for this instance because the bunker's not the biggest lip in the world, and I'm getting confidence of getting that ball out because so many people are scared of leaving it in here. So when it comes to your swing, the biggest thing I want you to focus on is making sure that you're turning back, turning through like a full swing that you've done in all your other lessons. Make sure your right foot's coming up off its toe, hands and club coming over left shoulder. Now if you find obviously that the ball goes too far or you get a few diggies when you get in there, that's where all these other ideas of opening the face up, getting down in your feet, getting down with a grip, get you really funky by the green, get you getting loads of height, loads of stop, and getting that control that you might push towards. So overview, play with how much twist. That's going to add loft, going to add height if you want it, stopping angles if you want it to stop short, or not if you don't put as much twist in. Think about where you're holding the club, up or down the grip, and remember to put the twist in before you grip. Good width for stance, shuffling in, aiming at the target with your feet, so parallel to that ball to target line, aiming parallel to the line you want the ball to go with, so at the target in effect in your mind, making sure the handle's low enough to compensate for that. Twist in that face, turn back, turn through, off that right foot with your hands coming up over your left shoulder. You will get out more than you stay in. You'll actually start having fun in here. Good players love bunkers. They'd rather be in a bunker than not because they can control the height so easily. They don't even have to hit the ball. They just have to explode the sand. There's a bigger room for error almost in bunkers. Ideally, you don't want to be leading that edge in too much, and you want to have a bit of speed and commitment on your follow through. You're going to get them out.